I would like to talk about two films today. First, Luchino Visconti's The Leopard, and Satyajit Rai's The Home and the World. I find that there are some very interesting parallels between the two films. Both show aristocrats struggling with changes and threats to the old order that are embodied by a close associate. In The Home and the World, it's the aggressively anti-British Sandip, who's leading a boycott against foreign goods. In The Leopard, it's Tancredi, a liberal who is fighting for the Italian reunification against the existing order in Sicily. He believes that the Sicilian aristocracy ought to be at the vanguard of the new revolution. These characters try to convince the aristocratic patriarchs to align themselves with the changing times. But Nikhil steadfastly refuses to support the boycott. In a similar vein, Tancredi tries to convince the prince to support the efforts for Italian reunification. This prince has his own reasons for staying out of the way. What's fascinating to me is how the two filmmakers demonstrate the change in power dynamics in similar but different ways. By the end of the movie, both men will have fallen from their very powerful positions. One important way Visconti shows the power dynamics is by showing how the characters move in relation to each other. At the beginning, the prince always leads the way. He goes wherever he wants, and other characters literally follow him. Tancredi, the liberal nephew in favor of Italian reunification, is the one other person who goes his own way. He is, at least for the moment, alone though. No one follows him. This dynamic is to change with Tancredi's success. Now Tancredi meets his uncle as a kind of an equal, with followers and companions of his own. We're no longer living in the world of the prince. Satyajit Rai's The Home and the World sets up a similar contrast, but shows it in very different ways. While Shandip is often shown standing, agitating, moving around, not unlike Tancredi. Nikhil, the Maharaja, on the other hand, is often showing lying down or reclining. His wife calls him placid. In a way, his physical pose reflects his choice not to act against the British and foreign goods. But I think this also reflects his colonial position. Unlike the prince, he doesn't actually have very much power. All the political decisions are made over his head by the British. And there's another twist. The whole film is told from the point of view of Bimala, the wife of the Maharaja, which asks important questions about the role of woman. We will keep the significance of that choice out of this video. What I'm really interested in comparing is how the two filmmakers show their characters falling from power. Visconti chooses to emphasize the changing class dynamics. Initially, the aristocrats are segregated from the masses. At times, literally, as in this mass. With a plebiscite that confirms the overthrow of the old order, now they follow the lead of the masses. Visconti now makes the prince indistinguishable from the peasants, who now stand on an equal footing, even as they still continue to pay respects towards him. He's now hard to distinguish from the rest. Boundaries are broken in very different ways in The Home and the World. As Shandip's agitations compel all the parties to act beyond their usual traditional roles, Nikhil has to act to respond to the new movement taking root in his domain. Now he moves and confronts, unlike he used to, but he's hesitant and not very good at dealing with all this. And he's always alone. This change from the placid Nikhil to a more active one will have consequences. Whether all this is Shandip's fault or Nikhil's is hard to tell. The Prince and the Leopard falls in a less dramatic but equally noticeable manner. The prince becomes increasingly alone and out of sync with the world here at the ball that marks the union of the old aristocracy and the new Italy. And the film ends with a final submission that is dramatically at odds with the very beginning of the movie. I find both films to be incredibly articulate about the fates of their respective characters. Visconti shows his man literally shedding his followers and coming to move against the grain of the world, while Satyajit Ray, on the other hand, shows a Maharaja coming to give up his sedentary pose to match the actions of his friend and nemesis, only to fall because of it. I think these films show that there are very different ways of treating very similar subjects. These are very different styles of filmmaking, and they are both perfectly valid.